And once again, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back into the Otters Digital Network, where we are just minutes away from Game 2 between Trois-Rivieres and Evansville. As the two continue their three-game set, once again the Otters drop a series opener, and again they're shut out. 2-0 our score in Game 1. One solo run for Trois-Rivieres in both the second and third innings. That's all they needed. I thought Justin Watland was really good on the mound for the Otters, but he had no run support behind him. In fact, it took 15 batters for the Otters to even get someone on, and that was a walk. Later in the inning, they got 2 hits in the total game. Each of them was a double. A lot of work to do as they progress through these last 2 games in Canada before they head home to face Lake Erie. Once again, good evening and welcome into the Otters Digital Network. I'm Matthew Will, joining you for more Otter Ball. Apologies that we got started a little bit later than I had planned. Both squads took a little bit longer than anticipated to get their starting lineups in. But we're ready to go. Andy Armstrong will be the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game once again. Armstrong is going to be followed by the exact same lineup from Game 1, except a couple of position changes. Bierman, Davis, Felix, McKinley, Khalil, Gordon, Allen Jr., and Perrier. And this game starts with a called strike 1 there on the inside corner. Next pitch is chopped foul back into the netting. Now an 0-2 count. Excited you're joining us here for Saturday Night Baseball from Trois-Rivieres, Quebec, here in Canada, where the Otters are finishing their Canadian road trip. Hard swinging strike 3, and for the second straight game, Andy Armstrong starts the game with a swinging strikeout. With that, the first baseman, Zach Bierman, steps in. Zach Bierman went 0 for 3 in our opening game, a strikeout and then 2 outs that were up in the air. His first offering in this game. Swings at one and lifts it up foul to the left side. Third baseman Curtis thinks he's underneath it, and he is. So a quick 2 outs here in the top half of the first inning. And it's J.R. Davis who will step in next. Davis had a ground out and 2 flyouts to left field in our opening game. He's really struggled since the Otters got to Canada. He was really good in those last couple games against Quebec before the team headed off. But since the team's been here north of the border, he has kind of struggled. Gap right up the middle is wide open. First offering for Davis. He watches it go by for a called strike 1. Seems to be every time J.R. Davis steps into the batter's box, he's looking at a called strike 1 to start off. An 0-1 for Davis. Lifts this one up towards left center field. Both Glaudu and Zaganez are chasing after it, and it's Glaudu who makes the catch in deep left center field. 3 up, 3 down for the Otters here in the top half of the first inning. We're scoreless as we head to the bottom half of the first. Campagna, Gutierrez, and Glaudu 2 up for the Aigles. And we're ready for the bottom half of the second inning here. Welcome back inside Stade TR here inside the heart of Trois-Rivieres, Quebec. And we are ready for the bottom half of the first inning. We'll walk you around the defensive alignment for the Otters. In left, Davis. In center, Gordon. And in right, McKinley. Across the infield, Armstrong at third, Khalil at short, Courier at second, and Zach Bierman will play first. That means that is because Allen Jr. is behind the plate, because Justin Felix is the designated hitter for the Otters in this one. Up on the mound for the Otters in Game 2, Ryan O'Reilly. And for Ryan O'Reilly, he enters the game with an 0-1 record, 6.0 earned run average. He played in 2 games, got just 9 innings of work under his belt. He's given up a few runs in his couple outings, and that's been the big difference maker for why his ERA is so high, is because he had a really tough outing there against Quebec City, giving up 6 runs in 7 hits in 4 innings. That was what really hampered him. But for now, Ryan O'Reilly will look to start off on the right page. He'll face Joe Campagna to start off the game. First pitch is a swinging strike one on the low inside corner. O'Reilly with his open stance up there on the mound. 0-1 on the way. Again attacking the low inside corner. They said no, he did not go around. It was close enough that I thought it could have been a called strike. Instead, the count evens up at a ball and a strike. Kick and delivery from Ryan O'Reilly. That one's way inside. And O'Reilly falls down in the count 2-1. Really vital that Ryan O'Reilly gets out to a hot start here. 2-1, way up and in. That one kind of got close to the face of Joe Campagna. So O'Reilly now down in the count 3-1. Trois-Rivieres faithful trying to get behind the man at the plate, Campagna. The 3-1 on the way. Catches the high outside corner, and the count goes to full. Active crowd here in Trois-Rivieres for Game 2. The 3-2 from O'Reilly. This one's lifted out towards shallow right field, and it's off the glove of Justice Courier. He was running over with the glove over his right shoulder and just lost it. They credit it with a hit. So a leadoff single from Joe Campagna brings up the designated hitter, David Gauthier. In Game 1, Gauthier went 1 for 3 with a single, a strikeout, and a pop-out. So now O'Reilly having to pitch out of the stretch. First offering towards Gauthier. Low inside, ball 1. Campagna has had a decent lead over there at first. Now he's shortened it up a little bit. O'Reilly ready for the 1-0. Kicks and delivers. Right down Main Street. 1-1 the count is now. If the Otters were to drop this game, it would mean that they have only won 1 series all season, and that was the Empire State one. So really need to give yourself a chance to win this series. A 1-1 on the way home. Way inside. 2-1 the count. Not a good start for Ryan O'Reilly. Only has 2 strikes to his name. Sorry, 3 strikes to his name. That's compared to 5 strikes thus far. A 2-1 on the way. Way inside again. It's going to get past Allen Jr. behind the plate. And progressing to second will be Joe Campagna. I would hope that's called a wild pitch and not a pass ball. Waiting to see what they put it in there as. And they are going to say a wild pitch. O'Reilly with a long look out towards second. Big lead out there by Campagna. And he steps off and looks that way. And with that, Ronnie Allen Jr. is going to go out and have a quick discussion with his pitcher. Get signs once again. And it looks like we're about ready to go. Umpires for today's game. Behind home plates is Pearson Tahuka, Wes Dunkel over there on the right side of the infield, Matthew Pysett on the left side of the infield. O'Reilly taking his time on the mound. A glance back at second. Here comes the 3-1. This one is hit really hard to the right side, a foul ball over there. I think it actually went off the leg of one of the guys getting ready to hit in a couple of batters. But he seems to be just fine. Important strike to pick up there for O'Reilly as the count is now full. Second straight batter has seen a 3-2 count. Here comes the pitch. That one inside yet again, and it's a walk. 2 on already here, and there's no outs yet for Ryan O'Reilly. So now the center fielder, Rafael Gradu, steps up. In game 1, Rafael Gradu reached on the fielder's choice and then struck out the other 2 times. O'Reilly taking a long time on the mound. Seems to be ready to go. And here comes the first pitch to Gradu. He gets a hold of it. Sends it out towards right center field. Chasing it is Gordon. He's underneath for 1 out. Both runners will advance, and they're safe. So a long fly ball from Gradu to center field has moved both runners into scoring position. So now the cleanup hitter, first baseman Carlos Martinez, steps up. Now, of course, with the runners on, naturally the whole infield has shifted just a little bit to the left. The outfield shifted left just a little bit as well. Infield playing medium depth. First pitch is across for a called strike 1. That one on the high outside corner. So now O'Reilly will look to attack the zone yet again. 0-1 count, 1 out. Runners on second and third for Trois-Rivieres. This one's lifted out towards center yet again. Gordon trying to run in towards it. Brings it in for the second out. A throw to the infield. To third, not in time. And a sacrifice fly will score a run. So Carlos Martinez picks up an RBI on a sacrifice fly, and it moves another runner. So now the right fielder, Steve Brown, steps in. And for Steve Brown, in our first game, Had a single, reached on a fielder's choice, rounded it out with a strikeout in the second inning. Now he's got a shot with a runner on third and 2 outs. First pitch to him, way high and inside, ball 1. Not the start the Otters wanted in a week that they have really struggled to score runs, and they're already down here in the bottom half of the first. O'Reilly waiting on the 1-0, pitch on the way. High, outside, ball 2. Allen left it kind of hanging there for a couple seconds, hoping it would be just called a little bit late, but that was not the case. So Brown digs back in, looking at a 2-0. Pitch on the way. That one catches the high half of the zone for the first strike of the at-bat, called strike 1. Gauthier stands there on third. 2-1 count to Steve Brown. Pitch on the way. This one sent into right field for another base hit. And another run will score for Trois-Rivieres. And even though the crowd is not enormous here, they have really made this a loud place. So an RBI single scores Gauthier from third, and it brings up the third baseman Elliott Curtis. First pitch to Curtis. It's sent over towards Purrier at second, who will play it on 2 hops. The first in time, but not before Trois-Rivieres scores 2 runs in the bottom half of the first inning. They lead by 2 as we head to the second here on your home for the Otters Digital Network. And we're set to go here with the top of the second inning. Once again, the Otters get off to a bad start offensively and then a bad start defensively as Ryan O'Reilly gives up a couple of runs in the bottom half of the first inning. A lot of work to do as we head into the second inning. A reminder, this is just a 7-inning game that will round out our doubleheader today. The two teams will face one more time tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, or local time, noon there in Evansville. You can catch the game right here on the Otters Digital Network. 2 up in the half inning for the Otters: Justin Felix, Trevor McKinley, and George Khalil. A little bit of a wait here. Now Felix is in and ready for the first pitch. Felix is the designated hitter in this game. The infield almost playing a little bit slanted towards the left. Outfield slanted a bit towards the right. So as the first pitch is across for a called strike one. Felix digs back in, looking at an 0-1. Oh boy, curveball just barely catches the zone. And it's an 0-2 count quickly for Justin Felix. In game one, Felix went 0 for 3. A couple ground outs and a fly out. On the 0-2, he lets one go by way up high for ball one. So a 1-2 count here for Justin Felix, the first batter in the top of the second. He gets a hold of one, but it looks like it's going to fall in shallow center. It's the second baseman who falls way back there and makes the catch. Campagna pulls it in, and it's 4 up, 4 down for the Otters. It'll bring up the right fielder, Trevor McKinley. In our first game today, McKinley had one of the 2 hits for the Otters, a double there in the 7th inning. Went next to a couple of ground outs for him. First chance for him here. Stays up high, ball one. Long wait there on the mound. And here comes the 1-0. Stays high yet again. 2-0 the count. Now to McKinley. Kyle Bell on the mound here in game 2 for Trois-Rivieres. Able to use that curveball yet again. Catches the low inside corner for strike one. So it's now a 2-1 count. McKinley puts one over the top of the second baseman's head, and he finally has the Otters with some early offense, as in the top of the second inning and 1 out. Otters have a man on. It'll bring up the shortstop, George Khalil. George was the last out in the first game. Went 0 for 2 with a fly out, a ground out, and a hit by a pitch. His team high 6th of the year. Pretty small lead over there at first for McKinley. Here comes the opening pitch to Khalil, and it stays low for ball one. Way down in the dirt. McKinley with maybe a half step more of a lead there at first this time. But the 1-0 comes home. Stays high, ball two. Well, Kyle Bell's not really having an issue with his horizontal placement. It's his vertical placement. He's either missing up high or missing low. 2-0 the count to George Khalil. Pitch on the way. That one falls low and away. And Khalil's ahead in the count, 3-0 now. The 3-0. That one falls into the high outside corner for strike one. Khalil is one of the more patient guys on this team. 7 walks, now 6 hit by pitches. Really make sure that the pitcher knows he has to come to him. 3-1 the count now to George Khalil. Pitch on the way. He lifts this one out down the right field line, but foul. further that one got down there, the further it went foul. Had he straightened it up just a little bit, could have been a double. Might have scored McKinley from first. It's all what ifs now, though. Three and two the count to George Khalil. Pitch on the way. It's a swinging strike three, but McKinley steals second on the play as well. So at least some positivity comes from the play. With it, the center fielder Miles Gordon will walk up. Miles Gordon 0 for 2 in our prior game. Both of them ground outs, and both of them to the second baseman. Thank you for joining us here on the Otters Digital Network, your home for the Otters on the road. First pitch for Gordon. He half swings at one, comes up empty, and down to the count 0-1. Well, it's been at bats like that, but start like that with a swing that was just kind of half tried for, that have plagued the Otters a lot. This one stays high and maybe away a little bit. 4-1, count even to the ball and a strike. We've seen a lot of Otters hitters put themselves in really tough situations by not really committing to pitches there at the beginning of their at-bat. Hard swing at the 1-1, and he falls behind the count 1-2 now. And there's a chance the Otters could strand their runner out there at second. One and two to Miles Gordon, trying to keep this inning alive for the Otters. The pitch, high and outside, count evens up at a pair each. Deuce is wild. 2-2 count, 2 outs, runner on second. The deficit is 2. The pitch for Gordon. Half swings, able to catch his swing, however, and lets it go by for ball 3. Full count now here. If he finds a way on base, the catcher, Ronnie Allen Jr., is due up next. Full count pitch here. Stays outside, and Miles Gordon earns a base the really hard way. Having to come from behind in the count. And there's now runners on first and second as the catcher, Ronnie Allen Jr., steps up. Both of Ronnie Allen Jr.'s contacts in the game one were really good hits towards right center field. The problem is as soon as they got up into the air, they just died and lost a lot of momentum. Both were caught in pretty much middle right center field. He'll start off this at-bat with a called strike 1 on the high side of the zone. Ronnie Allen Jr. 1 for 12 since joining the Otters a couple weeks ago. The 0-1 for him. Sends one down the left field line. Rounding third is going to be McKinley. Now rounding third is Gordon. 2 are going to score on the stand-up double from Ronnie Allen Jr. That's a way to get a hit, bud. And just like that, this game is tied. It was only a matter of time before an Otter really broke through. Said the same thing about Felix there on Thursday. With the amount of inconsistencies at the plate, big one there for the Otters. Not only did that thing get past third and stay fair, then it took a hard turn left towards the fencing. It was a long way to run for the left fielder, Diagonise. And now with 2 outs, Justice Puryear steps in. Puryear also went 0 for 2 in our prior game. Both of them were solid contacts to center field, but both were caught out there. First pitch he sees, he fouls back into the netting. Now looking at an 0-1. Oh boy, there is that curveball again. I don't think the Otters have swung at one of those yet because they are so definitive. They have so much movement on them and you have no idea where they're going to finish out. So an 0-2 count here for Julius Puryear. Next pitch is low and in the dirt. Good work from Marin to keep it in front of him, however. A little bit of a wait here between pitches. Puryear's back into the box. Kyle Bell kicks and delivers on the 1-2. That one stays high. And the count evens up at 2-2. The 2-2. That one stays a bit high. Now a 3-2. Big pitch here on the full count with 2 outs. Curveball stays high. So Julius Puryear is going to get a walk. And with that, we head back to the Edward Jones leadoff hitter. Couple of seconds taken here as the umpire on the left side of the infield stopped the catcher on his way up to the mound. Not sure what's going on out there. Looks like it was Matthew Fissett who stopped him and talked to him about something. But we'll run you through at least where we're at. It started with a pop out for Felix, then a single from Trevor McKinley. McKinley stole second on a strike 3 to George Khalil. Then ever since, with 2 outs, Gordon walked, Ronnie Allen Jr. had a 2 RBI double, and now Julius Puryear has walked to first. That umpire on the left side, Matthew Fissett, is still in there talking to the catcher and the manager of Trois-Rivieres. I can't figure out what exactly is going on out there. Now they'll have a mound meeting. But it wasn't until Pearson Tahuka went out and had a word as well. We're tied at 2 runs apiece here in the top half of the second inning. Otters finally, for the first time really in the entire Canadian road trip, have put together a decent couple of hits back to back. First pitch to the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Andy Armstrong, on the way, and it's a called strike 1. Long wait for Kyle Bell before he sends home the 0-1. This one is chopped foul right back into the netting. Now an 0-2 count. This would be a big out for Kyle Bell to get to keep this game tied at 2. Andy Armstrong would love to pick up a quality hit. The 0-2 on the way. Armstrong able to arm this one foul and out of play. Out of the stadium on the first base side. Pleased you're joining us here on a Saturday evening for Otters baseball here on your home for the Otters when they're away from home, the Otters Digital Network. 0-2 to Andy Armstrong. 2 outs. Pitch on the way. He lifts this one up in the infield. Seems like the catcher is underneath it, and it falls out of his glove despite it being in foul territory. Man, had that one rolled into fair territory, Ronnie Allen Jr. was just about to step on home. He had a really good jump there from second. Instead, it does land foul, so the runners will both advance all the way back to where they started. Runners on first and second. 2 outs, 0-2 count to Andy Armstrong. The 0-2 stays high, ball 1. At any time this evening, if you'd like to let us know where you're listening from or which Otter you're rooting on tonight, let us know here in the live chat on YouTube. The 1-2 on the way. Curveball, it's hit towards the shortstop. He has to play it on a weird hop over to first, and plenty of time there. And that ends the top half of the second inning. But not before 2 runs scored for the Otters on a 2-run double from Ronnie Allen Jr. We are all tied at 2 as we head to the bottom half of the second inning. Bottom half of the second inning coming your way on the Otters Digital Network. Your home for the Otters when they're not at home. Speaking of Otters at home, they'll be back in Evansville for a 3-game set against the Lake Erie Crushers starting on Tuesday evening. First pitch is scheduled for 6:35. Gates open at historic Bosse Field at 5:30. If you'd like to buy tickets, you can do that right now. EvansvilleOtters.com. Hop on there and grab your tickets. Stop by the Bosse Field box office anytime this week. Pick up tickets, or you can give our wonderful front office staff a call at 812-435-8686. They would love to pick out your perfect seat for Taco Tuesday on Tuesday night. First pitch of this half inning, and O'Reilly finds the strike zone on Michael Daganaz. Daganaz had the game-winning RBI in that first game, but he's quickly down 0-2 in this count after a swinging strike 2. This is the Ryan O'Reilly we all kind of have come to expect. The 0-2 outside. Daganaz won't chase it this time. The count now at 1-2. O'Reilly sends it home. Chopped towards the left side. Armstrong on 2 hops. Long throw to first in time. So the left side of that infield is already off to a better start than they were in game one. And with one out in the bottom half of the second, the shortstop, Yared Martinez, is due up. Martinez went 0 for 2 in the first game, grounding into a fielder's choice, and then striking out on a drop third strike. First chance here. Shot to the right side and through the infield. Gets past the diving Zach Bierman, and it's a one-out single for Martinez. So now, the catcher, Guillaume Morin, steps up. Morin did not play in our first game. In fact, he hasn't seen home plate a lot this year. 1 for 4 at the plate thus far in the early parts of this season. So officially a .250 average. His first opportunity in this game, and he takes a called strike one on the outside half of the plate. Oh-1. The count. One out and runner on first. They're going to go check on the runner. But back in plenty of time was Martinez. Oh-1 the count. Again, they're going to throw over to first, and Bierman just barely kept that thing from skying over his head and into the seating area. Count remains at 0-1. Now the pitch on the way. This one's chopped foul to the right side, and it will end up staying in foul territory. 0-2 the count now. So Ryan O'Reilly does a quick lap around the mound, taking a deep breath, trying to compose himself after what was a tough first inning, trying to make this inning a little bit more favorable for himself. The 0-2 count to Guillaume Morin. The delivery stays up high, ball one. So 1-2 the count to Guillaume Morin. Runner on first is Yared Martinez. He's got a pretty big lead over there. And here comes the 1-2. O'Reilly misses on the high outside corner. Count evens up at 2-2. This is where the Otters have to have pitching that can succeed. They're going to throw over the first. Oh, that was really close. In fact, Zach Bierman turned a second time, thinking for sure that they had got the out. But it remains 2-2. Man, that one was close. So they'll try again on the 2-2. Hit right back up the middle. Purrier on a line. Throw to first for a double play, and they got it. Great way to back up the couple runs in the top half of the second inning. A heads-up play from Julius Purrier to bring in the out for one. Throw to first for two. And we head to the third inning, tied at 2 runs apiece. Top of the third coming at you here, and let me take a moment to mention, I don't know if I've ever seen a mascot as loved as the Aigles mascot here in Trois-Rivieres. I mean, he has got a parade of like 12 children behind him. Due up in the half inning for the Otters, Bierman, Davis, and Felix. Bierman will get us started. He starts with a ball taken way up high. 1-0 the count. A 1-0 to Zach Bierman, who thinks about swinging, lets it go by, and it stays high for ball 2. I think this is one of the places that Bierman has to prove that he can be really worried about. That's on some of these 2-0, 2-1 counts that he can battle with them and earn some walks here and there. He's been really solid on the year in the box when it comes to making sure he's getting hits and getting on base, but 14 strikeouts to just 3 walks. Walks is something he's got to look for a little bit more on. Bierman did fail to reach base safely in our first game, and because of that, his 10-game on-base streak has come to an end. Every game he had played, he had made on base safely. Now he takes the pitch way inside, and the count heads to full. 3 balls, 2 count, 2 out, 2 strikes. Man, sorry. Kicking and delivering. 3-2, and it's a strikeout swinging for Zach Bierman on a pitch out of the zone. So now the left fielder, J.R. Davis, walks into the box. Davis 0 for 1. He flied out to the center fielder his first time up. Really good crowd on hand here at Trois-Rivieres. This is their second series at home this year. They started off hosting Florence earlier this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And it's a called strike 1 for J.R. Davis on that low outside corner. Kyle Bell takes a couple extra seconds digging in on the mound. Now sends home the 0-1. Davis arms this one out towards left center field. Lauda thinks he's underneath it, and he is for out number 2. So now with 2 outs, the designated hitter, Justin Felix, steps up. Yet again, the Otters with 2 early outs, so now have to do their work with a couple down already. The Otters are really hoping they can get this win here, because you lose this one and it means you've lost the series. And as of right now, the only series the Otters have won was the sweep against Empire State. First pitch Felix sees is fouled off to the right side and out of play. So he falls down on the count 0-1 to start us off here. 2 outs, no one on here in the top half of the third inning. We're tied at 2 runs apiece. Here comes the 0-1. Thinking about swinging with Felix, he checks his swing, and a good thing he did, because it was ball 1. Count evens up at 1-1. Kyle Bell steps off for a second. Now he seems like he's ready to go. His 1-1 pitch. Tried to use that curveball again, but it stayed too high. So the count goes out to 2-1. Don't forget to join us again tomorrow for Game 3 of this series. First pitch is scheduled for noon Evansville time, noon Central time, which means 11:50 is when we'll get started with the pregame show. The 2-1, just a bit outside for ball 3, and the count's at 3-1. Felix is one of the best when it comes to consistently getting free passes for the Otters. His 7 walks lead the team. Hard swing here, though, takes him out to a full count. Trois-Rivieres faithful are going to try to get behind their pitcher, Kyle Bell, here. 2 outs, full count to Justin Felix. Long wait before this pitch. Now it's on the way. And sitting it foul over the top of the seating area here is Felix. He'll live to see another pitch. Play here in a stadium that was built in 1938. Little wait here before the 3-2. Payoff pitch from Kyle Bell on the way. Felix sends it out towards center field, and it'll drop for a base hit. Seems to be that when there's 2 outs, that's when the Otters do their best work. And a 2-out single by Felix brings up the right fielder, Trevor McKinley. McKinley had a single there in the second inning. Ended up stealing second and then scoring on the RBI double from Ronnie Allen Jr. And boy, was that a hit that Ronnie Allen Jr. was due for. First offering to McKinley. He pops it up in the infield. And it's the shortstop Martinez who hauls it in. So nothing comes of a 2-out single from Felix. And we head to the bottom half of the third inning. Still tied at 2 here from Trois-Rivieres. Bottom of the third, coming at you here from Trois-Rivieres, Quebec, here in Canada, where the Otters are concluding their 6-game road trip north of the border with a 3-game set against Trois-Rivieres. The Aigles won game 1, 2-0, and now we're tied at a pair of runs each here in game 2. We head back to the top of the order for the Aigles in second baseman Joe Campagna, who is 1 for 1 with a single there in the first inning. First pitch he sees here, he grounds over to the left side. Armstrong on the run and makes a play. Great work from Armstrong yet again in this game. So now With one down, the designated hitter David Gauthier steps in. Gauthier walked in the first inning. He came in to score on the RBI single from Steve Brown. First pitch is across for a called strike one on the lower inside corner. 0-1 the count, on the way now. This one is hit hard down the right field line, but just a tad bit foul. Would have surely been extra bases for Gauthier. To the count now for Gauthier. Swinging strike three on a pitch outside the zone. Almost in the opposite batter's box there. And it's the first German American Bank strikeout of the game for Ryan O'Reilly. So now the center fielder Raphael Gradu will step in. Gradu is 0 for 1 with a fly out to center his first time up. Shows bunt, and the ball stays outside for ball one, as able to pull back in time with Gradu. One 1-0. This one's lifted high towards the left side. Khalil thinks he's underneath it, and he is for the third out of the half inning. After 3 full innings, we are still tied at 2 runs apiece here from Trois-Rivieres. Top of the 4th inning to you as we get set for the Otters bats to come back out. George Khalil, Miles Gordon, and Ronnie Allen Jr. due up here in the top half of the 4th inning. A reminder, we're just playing 7 innings in this game as it's game 2 of our doubleheader today. Yesterday's game postponed to today due to tons of rain here in the Trois-Rivieres area. But no rain is expected from here on out, but we're here, so you can just about guarantee we'll be playing on time tomorrow. Noon start there in Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. First pitch that Khalil sees, he fouls out of play to the right side. Falls down in the count 0-1. Steps back in and ready for the 0-1. Pitch on the way, and he lifts it up towards shallow right field. Second baseman Campagna is underneath it, and he brings it in for out number 1. So now with 1 out, the center fielder Miles Gordon steps up. First at bat, he reached first on a walk and then scored on the Ronnie Allen Jr. RBI double. Gordon steps in and ready to go here. The left-handed hitter shows bunt to start. Pulls away in time, and it's ball one. Big opportunity here for the Otters to work their way into a lead. A 1-0 stays inside, 2-0 the count now. Fans, make sure that you're following the Otters on Twitter and Facebook. That way you never miss a single update about this team. The 2-0. This one was outside. Oh, no, it's called strike one. So 2-1 the counts with one out here for Miles Gordon. Kick and delivery on the 2-1. He extends the hands, but it just fouls right back into the awning over the top of Stadia Kiarama here inside Trois-Rivieres. So the count is 2-2 for Miles Gordon. Grounded towards the right side. Good play by the first baseman. Race to first. And the winner will be the first baseman, Martinez, on a first baseman unassisted ground out there. And with two outs, the Otters will see if catcher Ronnie Allen Jr. can replicate his success from his first time up. RBI double, brought in 2 runs his last time up. Entering this series, Ronnie had just picked up 1 hit in his first 10 at-bats with the Otters. In game 1, had 2 rock-solid hits, or rock-solid contacts made. They just didn't fall for hits. Both of them were picked off in right center field. Looking at an 0-1 count after that opening foul off. Gets underneath one and fouls it off again. This one out of play to the left side. Might actually make it over to the next building over. Cool thing about this stadium is it is right in the heart of the Grand Prix Trois-Rivieres, which is a racetrack that is used quite often by all different sorts of levels of racing. Rally cars have been here. NASCAR has been here. An 0-2 stays high for ball one against Ronnie Allen Jr. But definitely definitely worth a Google if you have never heard of it or want to see more about it. You can even just do GP3R, and that'll bring it up. A swinging strike 3 for Allen Jr. on a pitch that runs out of his zone. He sits down on strike, so that ends the top half of the 4th inning. Still tied at 2 here from Trois-Rivieres, Quebec. Bottom half of the fourth inning coming up next as the sun starts to set on beautiful Trois-Rivieres, Kansas. I have thoroughly enjoyed the time we've got to spend up here north of the border. Went to Ottawa for a few days and then got to ride about 2.5, 3 hours through the beautiful countryside from there to here in Trois-Rivieres, where we've spent the last couple days, and we'll spend one more night tonight before the Otters head back home. First pitch seen by Carlos Martinez, and he sends it through the infield to the left side for a leadoff base hit. That didn't take long at all. So now the right fielder Steve Brown steps in with a runner on first. Brown is 1 for 1 with an RBI single there in the first inning. A glance over to first, where Martinez has a very small lead. First pitch on the way home. Works its way outside for ball one. O'Reilly started the game really struggling, giving up a couple of hits and a couple of runs. And then he started to find his groove, and he's been really good in the last inning and a half, 2 innings. A 1-0 from Ryan O'Reilly. Again, this is outside. 2-0 the count now. Now the count for Steve Brown. Ryan O'Reilly really taking his time between pitches. Still waiting. A glance over to first, and he's ready to go with the 2-0. This one is lasered towards left field. And Davis is just going to have to watch this one fly. A 2-run home run for Steve Brown has once again given Trois-Rivieres the lead. I tell you, the first thing that the Otters said when we first got to the stadium last night, where we thought we were going to be playing a game, and then, of course, it got postponed. But when the team first showed up, as soon as they looked out to left field, they said, that wall's 303 feet. That's it. Left field is 303 feet. And they all kind of went, you know, there's going to be some home runs in this series. It's only a matter of time before people really catch a ball and send it flying. And right there, we see the first one of the series, a 2-run shot for Steve Brown. He has 3 RBIs already in the game. So with no outs, Elliott Curtis steps in, the third baseman, takes the ball outside, and now a called strike one as the count evens up at 1-1. The Otters will start to get an arm ready out there in the left field pen. The ball is sent foul out of play, 1-2 count now. Working on figuring out exactly who it is out there. But first, the 1-2 to Elliott Curtis. Just misses on the outside edge of the plate. So the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2 on the way. Hit right back up the middle. Long run for Khalil, and it gets the ball in for a base hit. 3 straight base hits lead off the 4th inning here. Well, I know it's not Jake Polancic warming up. As for who it is exactly, it's hard to figure out. It looks like it could be Brahms or Jacob Bowles. We'll know for sure when he's called upon. The ball sent high towards center field, and Gordon won't have to move an inch to make the catch. First out of the inning finally acquired after Michael Baganas flies out to center. Going to bring up the shortstop, Yareb Martinez. Martinez had a single in the second inning, but then was caught retreating to second after a ball was snagged midair by Puryear. Pretty small lead over there at first for Elliott Curtis. As the first pitch comes home, it's sent foul to the right side because Martinez was way behind that ball. One out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Trois-Rivieres leads by 2. 0-1. Catches the outside edge, and it's now an 0-2 count in favor of Ryan O'Reilly. And for Ryan O'Reilly, he is still trying to get things figured out. Still doesn't have a quality start yet this year. 5 innings against New Jersey. Didn't give up a run on 3 hits. But then against Quebec, gave up 7 runs on 6 hits and 4 innings of work. So here comes the 1-2 from Ryan O'Reilly. Stays low and away, and the count evens up at 2-2. It does look like the man that's warming up for the Otters down there is ready to go at any point. He throws one pitch and then just waits for a while. Otters would love something on the ground in the infield to end the inning. The 2-2 on its way home. Missing again low and outside is Ryan O'Reilly. That one I could tell just tried to overthrow it, and it stuck to his hand a little too long. By the time he released, way out of the sweet spot. Full count pitch to Yareb Martinez. Here it is. Runner breaks for second. Ball gets past Allen behind home plate, but it won't matter. It's a walk for Martinez. And Max Peterson's going to make the walk out to the mound, have a discussion with his starter, Ryan O'Reilly. No motion yet that he's going to make a pitching change, and now here it is. So we'll see who's going to get the nod for the Otters. We'll take a break and let you know who's coming in relief. Ryan O'Reilly doesn't even make it to the end of the fourth inning in this one. Otters now down 2, have some work to do. We'll be right back. Jacob Bowles is going to get his 4th opportunity of the year. In his 3 chances prior, he's given up 6 runs on 4 hits. Worked a total of 3 2/3 innings thus far. This call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solutions needs. And now on the mound, Jacob Bowles thrown home to Ronnie Allen Jr. That pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. And give them a call at 812-475-9000. So Bowles tasked with trying to snag these last 2 outs. At least get the Otters back into a position if the offense can help them out. The righty Bowles with a glance out towards second. The first pitch, way outside. Allen Jr. barely got his arm over there in time. So Bowles taking his time, looking in for his sign. The 1-0 on the way. Again, missing way outside. Bowles has missed to the opposite batter's box in both of the first 2 pitches. And with it, Ronnie Allen Jr. steps out and gives a sign to his infield. Stepping back in is Guillaume Morin, who's 0 for 1. Looking at a 2-0 count. This pitch just catches the outside edge for strike 1. Count now at 2-1. Bowles with a long look at home. Now a long look over there at second. The 2-1 on the way. Missing low and away, and Allen Jr. just barely gets to it. A little bit of wind here this evening, blowing out towards left or right, maybe right center field. Not too much though. Just can see it out there in the Quebec, Canada, and American flags. The 3-1. This one's sent foul to the left side. And Armstrong will run over there and toss it out of play. So a full count yet again, this time to Guillaume Morin. Guillaume's got a shot at RBIs here. The full count pitch, hit to the right side, and it's past Bierman at first. Played in right field by McKinley, but a run is going to come home to score. An RBI single from Guillaume Morin. It's only the second base hit of the season for Guillaume Morin. And this one gives Trois-Rivieres a 3-run lead. So now we head back to the top of the order where Joe Campagna steps in. 1 for 2 with a single and a ground out to his game 2 thus far. This game moving quite a bit slower than our game 1 earlier. As again, Bowles misses, this time to the low side of the zone. 1-0 the count. The 1-0 on the way home. Thinking about swinging was Campagna. Lays off, and it's called strike one in the high outside corner. So with it, the count is evened up and a ball and a strike. Bowles ready on the 1-1. Sends it. Swinging strike two on a slider that broke low and away. 1 out. Runners on first and second for Trois-Rivieres. They've already scored 3 this half inning. A 1-2 on the way. Again, missing low and outside is Jacob Bowles. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runners on first and second for Trois-Rivieres, who are looking to keep adding to their lead. A 2-2. This one's lifted out towards center. Chasing after it is Gordon. Towards the trap. Leaping catch into the wall. Wonderful play from Miles Gordon. But the runner, Elliott Curtis, will advance on the fly. But Gordon just saved 2 runs. So now 2 outs and runners on the corners. David Gauthier due up. 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk so far. Extra time taken by Ronnie Allen Jr. to walk out and give a sign to the infield. And now ready to go with the first pitch to Gauthier. Gauthier had a single in the game 1 of the doubleheader. First pitch here is in the dirt for ball 1. Good work from Allen to keep that ball in front of him. So a 1-0 count here. Bottom half of the 4th inning. Otters still searching for the outs. They've already given up 3 runs here in the bottom half of the 4th. A 1-0 on the way, right across the center of home plate, and the count evens at a ball and a strike. Curtis stands on third, Martinez on first. David Gauthier standing at the plate, looking at a 1-1 count with 2 outs. Pitch on the way. Just barely catches the outside edge of the plate. Just barely. So the count's at 1-2. Jacob Bowles could get himself out of the inning. Bowles with a look in towards home. And here comes the 1-2. Hit sharply to the right side. Picked up by the second baseman Purrier to first. In time. What a play from the Otters. Just got past the extended arms of Bierman. He was able to help with the play, and Purrier made up a ton of ground to snag out number 3 and save another run. But 8 batters appear for the Aigles there in the bottom half of the 4th, and they now lead 5-2 over the Otters. Top of the fifth inning, coming at you here on the Otters Digital Network. You're home for the Otters when they're on the road. A tough bottom of the fourth inning for Ryan O'Reilly and then Jacob Bowles. 3 separate runs score for the Aigles of Trois-Rivieres, and they currently lead 5-2 in this one. Due up for the Otters in the bottom half here of the fifth inning, or top half of the fifth inning, I'm sorry, Julius Purrier, Andy Armstrong, and Zach Bierman. The 3 of them have combined to just get on base once so far in this game. That was a walk for Purrier. Just about lost the last bit of sunlight here, as the field lights start to take over for the bottom half of the fourth inning and now into the fifth inning. So Julius Purrier starting to dig in for his second at-bat of the game. Walked there in the second inning, but was left stranded at first. First pitch is on the outside edge for strike one. Purrier can't believe it. He turns back and asks a question. Next pitch, almost in the same place. This one's left alone for ball one. One and one, pitch on the way. Way up high. Easy for Purrier to lay off that one. Two balls, one strike. Hard swing from Julius Purrier, but he comes up empty-handed as he has swung right over the top of that one. And that's the issue you run into when your team's down by 3. You get guys that are trying to do it all themselves. That's the kind of swing that looked like. The 2-2. Purrier lifts it up, but out of play, foul over the seating area. So the count at 2-2. The life of Kyle Bell has just gotten a whole lot easier up on the mound. And a swing at a 2-2 and missing is Julius Purrier for another strikeout. 5 strikeouts on the game for Kyle Bell now. And with that, we head back to the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Andy Armstrong. Armstrong with a strikeout and a ground out so far in this one. Did have a double in the 6th inning of last game, one of the 2 hits for the Otters. First chance here, right on the high edge of the zone for strike one, fastball there. A little bit of a wait before the 0-1. This one's lifted up towards shallow right field. Second baseman's going to fall back and snag it. And Campagna pulls it in for out number 2. So now the first baseman, Zach Bierman, will make the long walk to the plate. And while he does that, we'll take a second to take a look at the Fox Sports WYFX Frontier League scoreboard. Tri-City defeated Schaumburg 4-3 in an unreal ninth-inning comeback. In 8 innings in Game 1 of their doubleheader, Florence fell to Quebec 4-2. Gateway and Ottawa are tied 4-4 in the bottom of the ninth. In the bottom of the 8th, Sussex County leads Joliet 3-2. Lake Erie leads Empire State 6-0 in the top half of the 8th. Hard hit to the right side, and it's through for a base hit for Zach Bierman. Much needed for the first baseman, Bierman. After failing to reach base in our last game, the first time all season he's failed to reach base, He's able to redeem himself with a single here. You guessed it, with 2 outs. We'll give you the last 2 scores that we know of right now. Bottom of the 4th, New Jersey leads Washington 10-4. Bottom of the 5th, New York and Windy City tied at 3 apiece. That's it for the Fox Sports WYFX Frontier League scoreboard. Making the walk in now is left fielder J.R. Davis. The pitch on the way, catches the high outside corner for strike 1. Once again, J.R. Davis taking a pitch to start off a count, and it's a strike. It seems like every time for him. Both of his outs so far in this game have been flyouts to the center fielder. The 0-1 delivery. He gets a hold of this one, sends it down the left field line, but just foul. Oh, man. 7-8 feet foul. Not by much. Would have had a 1-run game if J.R. Davis could have centered that one up a little bit more. And it's funny because that was a ball that was probably only hit 305 feet, but it would have been enough to do it over that left field wall that just stands about 3.5, 4 feet tall and only sits 303 feet away from home. The 0-2 up high for the first ball of the at-bat. A 1-0 count here to J.R. Davis. Sorry, 1-2 counts. 2 outs, runner on first. Pitch on the way. Whoa, boy, hard swinging strike 3 for Davis. He about lost his shoes on that swing. So he will sit down with a strikeout, and the 2-out single from Zach Bierman comes back with nothing. We head to the bottom half of the 5th inning with the Aigles. Trois-Rivieres still leading 5-2. Well, they just went ahead and celebrated the 7th inning stretch here in the 5th, since we're 2 innings towards the end of things. An interesting note, they sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" in English. Maybe there's not a French version of that, I don't really know. Just surprised me. I've only heard French all day long. It was interesting to hear English for once. But we're ready for the bottom half of the 5th inning here. Otters trail by 3. 5-2 in favor of Trois-Rivieres. Opening pitch from Jacob Bowles, right across the heart of the plate for strike 1. Bowles, likely the man they want to go all the way in this game, finish it out. They don't have to use another arm before tomorrow. Next pitch stays just a bit high, so the count evens up at a ball and a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. The ball is lifted out towards left center. Giving chase is Gordon. Long run for him, but he makes it. Man, he had a lot of ground to cover, but he made it look effortless. 1 down here in the bottom half of the 5th. They bring up the first baseman, Carlos Martinez. Martinez had a sacrifice fly RBI in the 1st inning, and then had a single in the 4th. He came around to score later in the 4th on that 2-run home run. Martinez waiting on the first pitch. It goes over his head. He has to duck underneath that ball, so the count's already at 1-0. The 1-0 on the way home. Oh, man, just snuck that in the inside corner for strike 1. Nice slider there from Jacob Bowles. 1-1 the count. Ball is sent straight at Armstrong at third, who plays it on 1 hop. Long throw to first, got it. George Khalil was in position to make that play, but I guess Andy Armstrong liked the running play a little bit better. 2 up, 2 down for the Aigles in the bottom half of the 5th. Brings up the right fielder, Steve Brown, who has 3 RBI in this game, an RBI single in the 1st and a 2-run home run in the 4th. Brown ready for his first offering of this at-bat. Lets it go by for a called strike 1 in the high outside corner. Looked like it was probably the fastball there. Oh, 1 pitch on the way. Oh my. Brown looked like he was going to be really late to the swing. That's why he laid it off, but it must have stayed a bit high and outside for ball 1. It looked like it was almost in that same high outside corner as the first pitch. Count at 1-1. Ball is sent foul out to the right side. It's going to get out of play, out towards the parking lot. These two teams face one more time this weekend, one more time this season. That'll be tomorrow, 1 p.m. local time, noon Evansville time. You can catch the game right here on the Evansville Otters digital network. The 1-2. Chopped foul, up and out of play. Sounded like the bat might have broke, but looks like they're all good to go. Count remains at 1-2 for Steve Brown, trying to extend the inning for the Aigles. Jacob Bowles trying to close the door. The 1-2. Caught the high side of the zone for strike 3. Steve Brown can't believe it, and he's standing there arguing about it. He gets his extra words in before his manager comes and grabs him and pulls him to the dugout. After 5 complete innings, it's still Trois-Rivieres 5, Evansville 2. Top of the sixth coming at you here on the Otters Digital Network. The Otters still trail this one 5-2 to Trois-Rivieres. And due up in the top half of the sixth inning, Justin Felix, Trevor McKinley, and George Khalil. The three have combined for just 2 hits so far in the game. They'll look to right the ship here and try to get the Otters a little bit of momentum in this game. Really hasn't been any since the second inning when the Otters struck for their 2 runs. Justin Felix due up first, 1 for 2 for him with a single and a pop-up in the game. Felix has done well to compete, at least in the batter's box, even if he's not always picking up hits or walks. He's sure made a name for himself as a guy who's going to make you earn the outs, at least in this series thus far. And he takes a called strike 1 to start the at-bat. Felix entered the series batting .222. Surely right about that same area. The ball on the outside of half of the zone is going to get called strike 2. So Felix falls down 0-2 in the counts quickly. Didn't take long at all. Due up after Felix, Trevor McKinley, and George Khalil. The 0-2. Sent foul to the right side. Watch out. Oh, what a play by a man out there on the first base side. That ball was sent on a rope into foul territory, and he happened to have his glove on and put it over there in front of his kid. Didn't even move an inch hardly. So the count remains 0-2 to Justin Felix. Kick and delivery. Sends this one high in the infield. No one knows where it's at except the third baseman who overruns it. And it drops in foul territory. It remains 0-2. So kind of lucking out there was Justin Felix. Felix still looking at an 0-2 count, trying to avoid his first strikeout, not just of the game, but of the series. Felix has finally readied himself, and he steps in ready for the 0-2. Kyle Bell takes no time at all. Sends it home. Looking strike 3 for Justin Felix right there on the high side of the zone. Felix doesn't love the call, but he'll have to make the walk back to the dugout regardless. Trevor McKinley now steps in. 1 for 2 with a single and a pop-out. McKinley, a left-handed batter. First pitch he sees. Up high, ball 1. Looks like Brady Tedesco is starting to warm up for the Otters out there in left field. 1-0 on the way home. This one again sent foul. One ball, 1 strike to Trevor McKinley. Long wait before Bell sends home the pitch. Now he kicks and delivers. The 1-1 stays low. The count at 2-1 with 1 out, so nobody on. Top half of the 6th. Otters have got to get it going quick. (2-1) left alone, and it's called strike 2 right down Main Street. Beautiful pitch there. 2-2 count for Trevor McKinley. Swinging strike 3, and McKinley's down on strike for the first time today. So now with 2 outs in the 6th inning, the shortstop George Khalil will walk in. 0 for 2 for him with a strikeout and a pop-out. Khalil watches the first pitch go by for a called strike in the high outside corner. Bell quickly on the 0-1, misses low and outside. Count even to add a ball and a strike. Really good crowd has wandered in here for our late game. First Saturday night game here in Trois-Rivieres this season. The 1-1. Whoa, works way inside, actually catches Khalil on the stomach. And it is the 7th hit by pitch for Khalil on the season. By far the top on the team. So with 2 outs, now a runner on first, Miles Gordon will step in. The center fielder is 0 for 1 with a ground out and a walk. Two outs here. Khalil with a pretty small lead there at first. Bell's going to send it home. First pitch, oh man, must have been just a tad bit outside, ball 1. We've seen both catchers, both Marin and Allen Jr. really hold balls there a long time, expecting that it's going to get called a strike later. Ball sent towards left field, and that one falls, and it's out of play for a ground rule double. Had that gone off the wall, surely Khalil was going to score from first, but that 3-foot wall out there in deep left field means it's just a ground rule double for Miles Gordon. With 2 outs, there's runners on second and third. So now the man who picked up the RBI the first time for the Otters steps up to the plate. Ronnie Allen Jr., 1 for 2 with a 2-run double and a strikeout so far in the game. He's got 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs. First offering. Allen Jr. lays it into left field. 1 run will score. The second one rounding third. Play at the plate. Not in time. And the Otters score 2 more runs via Ronnie Allen Jr. Have yourself a game, big man. Had a 2-run double in the second, now a 2-run single in the 6th. And the Otters just trail by 1 now. That is a big hit for Ronnie Allen Jr., and it's going to cause a meeting at the mound for Trois-Rivieres. Haven't made the motion yet to go to the bullpen. Looks like it's just a discussion for now. Ronnie Allen Jr. must have snagged some Wheaties in between the games because he has been the man for the Otters in game 2. That a simple base hit out there in the left, and good work there from the head man, Andy McCauley, to challenge the left fielder's arm and go ahead and send Miles Gordon from second. But Gordon has those quick legs, and he proved it there. So another edition of a 2-out rally for the Otters. After back-to-back strikeouts, Khalil was hit by a pitch. Gordon had a ground rule double, and then a 2-run RBI from Ronnie Allen Jr. We're going to check over on Jr. at first. He's back in plenty of time. It'll bring up Julius Purrier to the plate. 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk so far. First chance high, way up there. 4-1. 1-0, the count to Julius Purrier. Right down Main Street, he lets it go. So the count evens up at a ball and a strike. Ronnie Allen Jr. still standing over there on first. A 1-1. Oh my, just about catches Purrier in the head. He barely ducks out of the way in time. Count now 2-1. Two outs here in the top half of the sixth inning. Otters trying to find some late inning magic. A 2-1 stays up high. Ronnie Allen Jr. calls time and goes out there to kick some dirt around over there where he had his feet placed at first. He must have slipped a couple of times. Count is 3-1. We usually see Otters hitters swing for the fences at these pitches. I'd like to see Purrier be really patient here. The 3-1. Purrier does swing hard and fouls it up and out of play over the top of the seating area here. Three balls, two strikes, two outs. Julius Purrier is trying to extend the inning and give the Otters a hope to tie or take the lead here. The 3-2. Running towards second was Allen Jr. Didn't matter because it was outside for ball 4. And Purrier walks to first, putting runners on first and second. And that'll bring up the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Andy Armstrong. Armstrong with a strikeout, a ground out, and a pop out so far. Kind of seems like he might be due for one. Had a double in our earlier game. But that came after just finding one hit in the whole series against Ottawa. First pitch to Armstrong, over his head, ball 1. There is an individual starting to warm up for Trois-Rivieres out there in left, or right, I'm sorry, but I can't exactly see the number. I do know it's been Brady Tedesco warming up for the Otters. A 1-0 on the way. Misses low, maybe a tad bit outside as well. Regardless, it was low. So the count out to 2-0. Big lead. Well, not a huge lead for Ronnie Allen Jr., but a huge lead for Purrier at first. He wants something in the outfield to score him from first. The 2-0. Again high and near the helmet of Armstrong. He's out to a 3-0 count. Kind of looks like the arm of Kyle Bell has just kind of died out there. Pitch catches the low inside corner for strike 1. Three balls, one strike to Andy Armstrong, who's trying to extend this inning. The pitch. Chops it up towards the second baseman. Takes a weird hop. Post play at first. In time. Otters just about extended the inning on the air, but recovering well was the second baseman, and we head to the bottom half of the sixth inning. Just separated by 1 run now. Brady Tedesco is going to get the nod out of the bullpen for the Evansville Otters. We got to see Brady Tedesco in that finale against Ottawa. He actually earned the win in that, going just one inning, giving up no runs, no hits, walking just one. And he'll look to grab these 3 outs for the Otters in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Tedesco is the only left-handed pitcher in the bullpen, and until this week, until Tuesday, he was the only left-hander on the entire pitching staff until the Otters added Brett Adcock in a trade from the Sioux City Explorers in the American Association. He's now a left-handed starter for the Otters, so they at least have a second lefty in their rotation available. Jake Polancic is going to start throwing out there for the Otters just in case he's needed. Tedesco's going to start with a called strike one. Beautiful pitch there. Slider that worked to the outside part of the zone. Exactly what you want out of Tedesco. 0-1. Misses just a little bit more on the outside, but a nice pitch there to try to challenge the hitter, Elliot Curtis. Curtis is 1 for 2 with a single and a ground out in the game. 1-1. This time works way high and inside. So the count now at 2-1. Gorgeous night for baseball here. 71 degrees, almost no wind. The rain was here this morning, but we haven't seen a cloud in the sky since about 2 p.m. Ball sent fouled to the left side. And the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes for Elliot Curtis. Don't forget to join us tomorrow, 1 p.m. first pitch Eastern Time, noon Central Time, noon Evansville Time. We'll have the game right here for you on the Otters Digital Network. Pre-game show starts at 11:50. Tedesco looking at a 2-2 count towards Elliot Curtis. But time is called by Allen Jr. and they'll go have a talk at the mound. So Tedesco and Allen Jr. work through their signs real quick, and they're ready to go. Interesting from this home plate umpire, Pearson Tahuka, goes out there and stands right next to the pitcher and catcher when they're having a meeting, right next to the mound visit when they're having a meeting. I've never seen an umpire that gets their ear in every little piece. Ball chopped towards Khalil on 2 hops. Khalil on the run. What a play from George Khalil, who continues what has been a really solid week at short for him, other than his one tough error there in our game 1. Time is taken, though, as after he concludes the run to first, Curtis is favoring his left knee. So the trainer comes out and helps. Looks like all is going to be all right. He does need some help getting down the steps, however. So there might be a defensive change for Curtis out there. It looks like we might have a pinch hitter here. And no, it's not. It looks like they were just changing, probably the defensive change for the next half inning. I'll get that once we start that next half inning. The due up now is the left fielder, Michael Daganaz, who's 0 for 2. Has a fly out and a ground out so far in the game. Tedesco sends the first pitch home, right across home plate for strike 1. See, I think the thing that Tedesco really has going for him, I'll continue right after this pitch, the 0-1. Catches the outside edge for strike 2. like I was saying, I think the thing that Tedesco really has going for him is that he is the only lefty in this lineup. So a lot of the time these hitters are just facing righties against the Otters. And then you throw Tedesco out there and he can completely change the way a ball is coming home. An 0-2 on the way. Oh, just barely getting a piece of it was Daganaz. So the count remains at 0-2 after he fouls that one to the left side. Don't forget the Otters head home after their game tomorrow. They'll face Lake Erie Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You can buy tickets now at EvansvilleOtters.com. We'd love to see you out there at Bosse, because the team does head on the road Friday, Saturday, Sunday next week. So this is your only chance to see them next week. We'd love to see it at the ballpark. The 0-2 is up high for ball one. One ball, two strikes. Michael Daganaz trying to keep himself alive at the plate. The 1-2 misses high and outside. So let's go. Aigles chant starting to ring from Bedia Kiyama. The 2-2 catches the zone. It's a strikeout looking there for Brady Tedesco. That is his first German-American Bank strikeout of the game. So now the shortstop, Yareb Martinez, is due up. He has reached base both times thus far. A single in the second, a walk in the fourth. Jake Polancic has slowed down his warm-ups significantly out there and left. Pitch across the heart of the plate for strike one. Good work from Tedesco to get ahead of some of these hitters. The 0-1. This one falls low and inside. Count evens up at a ball and a strike. One ball, one strike, two outs. Nobody on for the Aigles. Ball goes way high and outside. 2-1 now the count. Well, I praised Tedesco for making sure he's getting ahead of pitchers, or getting ahead of batters. And there was a couple of tough balls there, and now finds himself down in the count. So he needs to challenge the zone here and safely challenge Yareb Martinez. He does there, and Martinez kind of gets choked up. Halfway swung through it, then tried to stop, and it kind of looks like he hurt his back a little as he half swung through. Well, the count goes to 2-2 with two outs. Big pitch here from Brady Tedesco to end the half inning. Pitch sent out towards center. Gordon doesn't have to move an inch. That's the third out of the inning. 3 up, 3 down, and the Otters have their last chance to come back in this one. They trail by 1 as we head to the 7th inning here on your home for the Otters while they're away from home, the Otters Digital Network. So a pitching change needed here for Trois-Rivieres. They'll ask Kyle Thomas to come on in relief and earn himself a save. As the Otters trail by 1 in the top of the 7th inning, they've got 3 outs left to figure something out and try to pull out a win here at Trois-Rivieres. That call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solutions. And now on the mound is Kyle Thomas going home towards Guillaume Morin. And that pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Or give them a call at 812-475-9000. First batter up for the Otters is going to be Zach Bierman. He'll be followed by J.R. Davis and Justin Felix. Not a bad 3 if you want to try to win a game. Bierman to the right side and through for a base hit. That is exactly how you start off this top half of the 7th inning and give yourself a chance to come back in this one. So now the left fielder J.R. Davis will make the walk up there. Already with a runner on and no outs. You'd absolutely love to somehow get Bierman to third and only have 1 out on the board so that you can have a sac fly, score him, and tie the game. First pitch to Davis. Through the legs of Davis. Bierman will head to second. Absolutely perfect for the Otters there. A pass ball from Guillaume Morin. And now the Otters have the game-tying run at second base for J.R. Davis. Big moment here for the Otters. Wonder if we'll see Davis trying to lay out a bunt here or not. The infield sure thinks so. They're playing a little in. The 1-0. He will not. He'll swing hard and come up with a foul ball into the netting. Count even at a ball and a strike. And because of that, both the third baseman and first baseman scoot back a little bit. They were playing almost at the infield grass. Now they're playing about mid-depth. 1-1 to J.R. Davis. Pitch on the way. He lets it go by for a called strike 2 on the high inside corner. So now Davis walks back into the box. A glance out towards the pitcher Kyle Thomas, who gets his sign. He glances out to second. The 1-2 to Davis. Davis chops it to the left side, played by the shortstop on 2 hops. Long throw to first. Not in time. It gets past the first baseman. So an error there on the throw is going to let J.R. Davis reach. And because of it, Bierman gets to third. There are no outs, and the Otters have runners on the corners. An absolute worst-case scenario for the shortstop Martinez there. You obviously don't want to allow the runner to get to third. That's step one. Then you also allow the runner to get to first. Now stepping in is Justin Felix. Now, the last time Justin Felix steps up to the plate with his team down and multiple runners on, that was against Ottawa Thursday. He sent one over the left field wall to give the Otters a win. He doesn't need to do it this time. All he needs to do is get a base hit and at least tie the game. But you know his eyes are probably set on that really short left field wall. First offering to him. Boy, does he turn the hips on that pitch. But he just fouls it up and over the seating area here at the stadium. 0-1 count to Justin Felix. The runner at first is J.R. Davis. At third, Zach Bierman. A solid base hit might even score J.R. Davis from first. The 0-1 to Justin Felix. Pitch on the way. Oh, great stop behind the plate by Guillaume Morin. Felix let it go by, and it stayed low for ball one, even in the count of the ball and a strike. Big, deep breath at the plate from the designated hitter, Justin Felix. The 1-1. Hard swing, and he comes up completely empty-handed on a pitch high and outside. Count now at 1-2, and Kyle Thomas is in the driver's seat in this at-bat. Big chance here for the Otters. 1-2 count to Justin Felix. No outs, top of the seventh inning. Runners on first and third. Otters trail by 1. The 1-2. Felix down the left field line, but it stays just a tiny bit foul. Just got a little antsy on that one, and it was a bit early. So Felix will have to try it all again. Still looking at a 1-2 count. Thomas ready on the mound. The 1-2. This one is sent high and foul. It'll get out of play behind home plate. Lands on top of the awning here in the seating area at Stade Piorama, a stadium that holds just over 3,000. Not that many tonight, but certainly close to at least 1,000 here. Good crowd on hand for their first Saturday night game of the season here at Trois-Rivieres. The 1-2 again, and again chops foul back into the netting. Felix making sure that he is staying defensive at the box, in the box, and not trying to be hitting a home run every pitch. He's trying to just make sure he keeps himself alive and makes something of the at-bat. Keep in mind, a fly-out does the trick. Anything in the outfield does a trick. I mean, you don't need a ton for him. The worst-case scenario is probably a ground into double play. The 1-2. Felix lets it go for ball 2 up high. Otters trying to have another late inning comeback here in Canada. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Justin Felix. The pitch on his way. Sends it down the left field line. Just foul. I tell you what, that is one of the closest foul fair balls I have ever seen. It hopped right in front of the base in fair territory, and then right after the base, it dropped just a hair into foul territory. Just about tied the game. 2-2 counts for Justin Felix. Runners still on first and third. No outs. Otters trail by 1 in their last inning of work. The 2-2. Right back up the middle, past the second baseman, and the game is going to be tied. An RBI single from Justin Felix, and he advances to second on the throw. Big heads-up play for him. And the Otters have tied the game at 5. Justin Felix is the comeback man this week. He scores Bierman from third, and a great heads-up play. This is one that I know somewhere out there, Bill McEwen, I hope you're either watching or listening. You would have loved that play. The center fielder tried to throw to third to get J.R. Davis, and because of that, rounding first quickly was Felix, and he went into second head first. They didn't even try to throw out there because they wouldn't have got there in time, because he made the most of a poor decision by a fielder. Now runners on second and third, still with no out. Here in the top half of the seventh, forget tying the game. The Otters can now take the lead, and with it, I believe Logan Sawyer is does look like he's hopped up and started to stretch, because they'll for sure want Sawyer to be the one pitching if they can get a lead here. But Jake Polancic is also ready to go in case the game remains tied. Felix at second, Davis at third. First offering for Trevor McKinney down in the dirt for ball one. McKinley is 1 for 3 with a single, a strikeout, and a pop-up so far. The 1-0 to McKinley. Sends it past the second baseman. One more run will score. Rounding third is Justin Felix. It's a 2-run single from Trevor McKinley. And the Otters now lead 7-5. How do you like that? One of the new guys, Trevor McKinley, with a 2-run single. Certainly would not have scored Felix from first, but because of the heads-up base running, he has a chance there to come around and score. No outs, still in the top of the seventh inning, and the Otters now lead 7-5. First pitch to Khalil. Good contact for him, but it fouls it into the netting to the right side. McKinley stands on first. Here's a crazy one for you. The Otters have scored as many in this inning alone as they've scored the entire rest of the Canadian trip combined. The 0-1. Just a bit. No, it just catches the high outside corner of George Khalil. And Khalil's down 0-2 in the count. The 0-2 to George Khalil. Right back up the middle. Actually catches the pitcher on the back. He'll throw over to first to at least get one out, and he is really hobbling after that. Got him on his right hip. It advances McKinley to first. Khalil will step down, and it looks like they're going to make a pitching change. Looks like they were planning on it regardless, but now getting hit by a ball probably just adds to it. They're going to wait to make the pitching change. They're going to have the trainer take a look at him and see how things are going. Let's run you through what's happened in this inning. It started off with Zach Bierman singling. Then he advanced to second on a pass ball. J.R. Davis reached first on an error, so there were runners then on first and third. An RBI single scored Bierman from third. Justin Felix rounded first, got to second. There were runners on second and third. Then Trevor McKinley scored both Felix and Davis on a 2-run single. That's where we're at now, and there will be a pitching change. As Kyle Thomas is only able to secure one out and gives up 3 runs on 3 hits. Well, wherever you are cheering on the Otters from, they sure heard it today. They come booming back in this one and currently have a lead in the final inning of play. And sure enough, Logan Sawyer starting to warm up for the Otters out there in the left field pen. Looks like it's Osman Gutierrez. Yes, Osman Gutierrez is going to take the mound on the season. Gutierrez has a 0.0 ERA, only appeared once and allowed no runs on 3 hits and 1 2/3 innings of work. They'll rely on him to try to close out these last 2 outs and at least give his offense a chance to come back. But he's going to have to face off against one of the league's best when it comes to closing pitching, and that is Logan Sawyer. Logan Sawyer, fun little piece of information for you. If he does indeed come in, which he should, he'll be participating in his 164th professional game and competing for his 30th career save. He picked up save 29 there against Ottawa on Thursday. This Calder bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solutions needs. Gutierrez on the mound, throwing home to Morin. That pitcher catcher battery is sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road, or give a call at 812-475-9000. Miles Gordon, first batter due up, and he takes a called strike 1 on the high side of the strike zone. Starts with an 0-1 count. Nearing the 2.5-hour mark of a 7-inning game right now. An 0-1 on the way. High inside corner, and Gordon's down 0-2 in the count. So Osman Gutierrez trying to check into the game and pick up a strikeout right out of the gate. Would be huge for the Aigles. The 0-2 to Gordon. Gordon sends it foul to the right side, out of play. Just 1 runner on for the Otters. That is Trevor McKinley out there on second after he had the, what is right now, go-ahead RBIs with the 2-run single. 0-2 to Miles Gordon. Gordon fouls it back into the netting, keeps himself alive. If nothing else can be taken from this game, even if the Otters do not come back here in this 7th inning like they have, there is so much to be impressed with the fact that they have taken a completely different approach to the plate. Really being patient, really making sure they're defensive with 2 strikes. I have loved what we've seen at the plate from the Otters today. The 0-2, Gordon sends it straight at the second baseman, who plays it on a weird hop over to first and grabs out number 2, but it does advance Trevor McKinley to third. 2 outs. 3 runs have already scored for the Otters, and Ronnie Allen Jr., who already has 4 RBIs in the game, has a chance with a runner just 90 feet away to give the Otters another run of insurance. High tomorrow here in Trois-Rivieres is 75 degrees. It's going to be a gorgeous day for baseball. First pitch is outside for ball 1. Next pitch, able to catch that low outside corner and even up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike for Ronnie Allen Jr. The 1-1 to Ronnie. Fouls it off his foot. He'll take a couple extra steps to walk that one off. That one never feels good. Logan Sawyer has only thrown about 1 warm-up pitch in the last 3 or 4 regular pitches. He seems ready to go any time now. One ball, 2 strikes to Ronnie Allen Jr. Takes strike 3 high in the zone. And that is how the inning ends, but not before the Otters score 3 runs to take the lead going into the final half inning of work We've got the conclusion of this one coming at you next here on the Otters Digital Network. Don't go anywhere. Well, I hope you've stuck with us here on the Otters Digital Network. Otters trailed this whole game. Now they've come back in the top half of the 7th inning to take a 2-run lead, and they bring in one of the best closers in this whole league, Logan Sawyer, try to close out this game and earn save number 4 on the season. The score is 7-5 in favor of the Otters. Due up for the Aigles, 9-1 two-hitters. Guillaume Morin, Joe Campagna, and David Gauthier. So stepping in is Guillaume Morin. Guillaume Morin entered the game 1 for 4 all season. He lined out his first time up and had an RBI single in the 4th inning. He digs in, and he's ready for his first chance here in the bottom half of the 7th inning, the last chance for Trois-Rivieres. 7-5 right across the center of the plate for strike 1. Sawyer, just like Tedesco, Bulls, and O'Reilly, doing a good job of getting ahead of the batter. It's about making sure you maintain that and stay ahead of the batter. That's what some of the other pitchers have struggled with tonight. The 0-1 for Logan Sawyer sends it home. Catches the high edge of the zone for strike 2. As you can hear, the Trois-Rivieres faithful do not love the call. So the count now at 0-2. Guillaume Morin has to compete now in the box. The 0-2. This is outside, but a nice pitch there from Sawyer. Just trying to challenge on the outside. One ball and 2 strikes to Guillaume Morin. Logan Sawyer is trying to finish out this ball game for the Otters. It's 1-2. It's over the head of Guillaume Morin. And the count evens up at 2-2. I have never seen a game with this many pitches over the head of batters on both sides. Two balls, 2 strikes, no outs here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Trois-Rivieres trying to come back in this one. And it's a called strike 3 right across the heart of the plate. The first German-American bank strikeout for Logan Sawyer in the game. Joe Campagna, the leadoff man, 1 for 3 so far in the game. And he is going to have to try to be the one who starts the bus for the Aigles. Starts off with a called strike 1 across the high outside corner. No balls, 1 strike here. And the 0-1 is on the way. Hard swinging strike 2 for Campagna. Logan Sawyer has himself in the driver's seat of this at bat. Just past the 2.5 hour mark of this 7-inning game 2 of our doubleheader. The 0-2 on the way. Stays a bit high and outside. 4-1. Sawyer's done a good job. That one not as much, but at least trying to make sure that his 2-strike pitches look somewhat attractive to these hitters. One ball, 2 strikes to Joe Campagna with 1 out and no one on. He drives this out towards center. Gordon's going to run in about 10 feet and make the catch. And the Aigles are down to their final out. And it will be David Gauthier, who's 0 for 2, who will have to be the one that gets things going. I mean, it's the last opportunity now. First pitch, high and away, ball 1. One ball, no strikes. As David Gauthier trying to keep his Aigles alive. The 1-0, high once again, and the count's now 2-0. Sawyer only at 10 pitches, but he's kind of looking like his arm looks tired the way he's stretched these last couple of pitches. The 2-0. Getting a piece of it is Gauthier, and the count goes to 2-1. I'll say this much. Love the energy here at Trois-Rivieres. The fans really get behind this team. Every pitch, they've got a bass drum down there that's getting involved. It makes for a fun atmosphere for a baseball game. 2-1 to David Gauthier. Pitch on the way. Just catches the outside edge. Evening the count at 2-2 with 2 outs. Nobody on. The Aigles down to their last strike. Great chance here for Logan Sawyer to wrap this thing up. The 2-2. Nah, that one's outside. Ronnie Allen Jr. tried to frame it over there, but you're not going to get that call. So Ronnie Allen Jr. will have to try again. And he'll call the pitch up to Logan Sawyer. 3-2 count. 2 outs. Pitch on the way. Swinging strike 3. And the Otters win game 2, coming back in the top half of the 7th inning. They win this one 7-5, and they've still got a shot to win this series. That is a huge win for this Otters team. We'll take a break. On the other side, we've got post-game stats and reaction for you. Otters win 7-5.
Logan Sawyer, here was a pickup, the losing pitcher, Felix. Voilà, puis on représente ce nom pour ce voyage dans
We're all about the quick breaks tonight. Got the score change for you. That's what really matters. Evansville wins 7-5 in 7 innings in a comeback effort. They had to score 3 there in that top half of the 7th inning, but that did the trick. They come back to win this. We kind of won you through things. Aigles scored the first 2 runs of the game. Those came all the way back in the top half, or bottom half of the first inning. First on a sac fly from Carlos Martinez, then on an RBI single from Steve Brown. We stayed there until the top half of the second, when the Otters evened the game up. A 2 RBI double from Ronnie Allen Jr. tied the game at 2-2. Then we had to go all the way to the 4th to find our next action with the scoring category. A 2-run home run from Steve Brown was then backed up by an RBI single from GM Marin, giving them a 5-2 lead. That 5-2 lead held all the way to the 6th when the Otters found themselves a couple of runs, another 2 RBIs from Ronnie Allen Jr., this time on a 2-run single that put the game at 5-4. After a solid half inning from Brady Tedesco in the bottom half of the 6th, the Otters came out in the top half of the 7th with the bats moving. Bierman with a single, Davis reaching on the air, RBI single from Felix. He advanced to second, putting runners on second and third. Trevor McKinley, the new guy, brought home 2 with an RBI single, and that was what made the difference. Those were the 2 winning runs. His first RBIs with the Otters, and his first game-winning RBI with the Otters, of course, as well. The winner is Brady Tedesco in relief. Another situation this week where he's found himself in a winning situation after just having to throw 1 inning. The loss will fall to Kyle Thomas, who only lasted 1/3 inning of work. With it, Evansville advances to 7-7, while Trois-Rivieres falls to 6-8. The 2 teams will face off one more time tomorrow in a rubber match. The game will decide who's going to win this series. The Otters would love to get a series win before they head back to Evansville. Game time is set for 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central, which means pregame will start at about 11:50. You can join me right here on the Otters Digital Network. I'd love to have you here for another edition of Otters Baseball. What a game we had here. Otters once again coming back this week to get a win here in Canada. For all of us here at the Evansville Otters, thanks for tuning in to another edition of Otter Ball here on the Otters Digital Network. I'm Matthew Will. Thanks for joining us, and I'll talk to you tomorrow at noon.